Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hello, everyone.
Huh? Oh,
It's
whoa.
me! It's me, fuckers!
Tom!
It's my voice! Oh, man. I've been gone. I've been away from the game, Dave. I've been away from the game.
But you're back.
I've been living in the Pacific Northwest in a log cabin, chopping wood.
Unibombing?
Yeah, unibombing, chopping wood, just trying to mind my own business. But they brought me back in, Dave. They brought me back in.
I found you. Yeah.
You did, yeah. You flew out there in a helicopter and a beret and told me we need you now more than ever.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm begrudgingly returning to Hypecast.
You're like fucking Wolverine.
Yeah. I was going for Rambo, but yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. I forgot how we do the show.
Yeah,
Well, there's
come on,
a
you got
Hypecast!
Hypecast!
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm the other one, David Bell, and we don't have a guest.
We do not. We tried.
But
We'll have a guest next week.
Yes, we signed up a guest for next week. I would say we could have accepted a guest for this week, but I think it was better to just you and I recalibrate. You know?
Yeah. Sort of get back on the same page.
Yeah,
to reunite, bump knucks, bump some knucks.
Bump our knucks together for
bump
sure.
Bump our knucks, do the predator handshake. I don't know
Touch
what I'm talking
tips,
about. Yeah,
all of that stuff.
Gingerly touch tips.
Of course. All the things people do when they, meet up.
Mm-hmm.
When they reunite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the same
we
t-shirts.
Ritualistically ate Abe,
We did. We ate Abe.
Yeah. To bring in a new season.
We each drew pictures of us eating Abe.
Yeah, of course. For the memories.
Yeah,
And we did it.
We did it.
You and I.
Together,
We're
Dave.
back.
We're back.
We're hyped.
We're better than ever. We're so hyped.
Yeah, we're better. Partially, both of us are cyborgs now.
Yep. I have a cybernetic pinky finger. That's it.
Yeah. But boy, what a pinky finger.
Yeah. It helps me play some really cool guitar chords on the guitar.
Oh, that's great news. Yeah.
And
we're
so
awesome now.
I can open Capri Suns with my pinky now.
Oh, you can destroy Capri Suns.
Yeah, just rip it right open like a velociraptor claw.
Yeah. It's nice to have you back, Tom.
Thanks.
We've actually been recording podcasts before this point. Like podcasts are going to go, how podcasts work. You record them.
I do.
Then they
I'm
go
aware.
at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to hear your voice. It's been nice to record. Nothing against the many guests we had, but I like my Coke Classic, man.
This is our house, Dave. This is the house that we built.
Exactly.
And it's weird when somebody else is walking around wearing my clothes.
Exactly.
This is all.
And they have to be eaten.
Yes, we must eat them, and we must draw a picture of us eating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it completes the ritual.
Right.
And helps us cope, probably.
Probably. It does. It's fun. That's all that matters.
Maybe it's fun. Yeah, that's the primary thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, shit. Tom, do you want to talk about trailers?
Dave, I would love so much to talk about all the new trailers this week, but fucking first,
Yeah.
we got to name some ding-dongs, don't we?
Right. Tom, there'll be some like new names in here. I want you to know.
We have new ding-dongs? Okay.
Oh, yeah. But I'll start us off. Big thank you to the Ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you. Thank you to @NerdNumbers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank
you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to Abe Epperson, a swell dude.
Thank you.
Who we ate. Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe, Deck the Halls with Blood.
Thank you.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Barry Two Math says Scott never died and Scott jokes are lazy Gen X nonsense. Pick it up.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Pick it up.
To be clear, these are Hypecast producers. Okay, I'm going to take over. Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Bootlesson.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Davey, the Ghost of East Las Vegas, Francis.
Thank you.
And thank you to David Knife Boot Hinson.
Boot. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know when NPR says like viewers like you, we actually name them and we allow them to make up their own dumb names.
Yeah, and then we call them ding-dongs.
Yep. And so we are better than NPR. All right.
I've always thought so.
Yeah. So let's talk about these Ninja Turtles. These Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenaged Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And they're mutant mayhem.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. It's the new animated Turtles movie. It's coming out from Seth Rogen.
Yep. It's so there's this thing that happens in animation, right? Where like Pixar gets famous, so everything looks like Pixar. Disney Renaissance looks famous, so everything looks like Disney Renaissance. And now the Spider-Verse was a hit, and so everything is sort of aping that style.
Yeah.
Which is to say, I'm okay with that because it looks good.
I'm okay with it, but I think it's a little creatively bankrupt. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like it's just it's like so like this. The animation looks good in this trailer, but it is so very obvious that they saw Spider-Verse make a bunch of money and win Academy Awards. And like, let's do that. Well,
right.
Maybe one should come up with your own thing. I don't know.
Right. But this is just movie making, right?
Yeah.
Or studio films, which is like an original project comes out, right? And they go, wow, that original project did so well. We should just copy it, right? And then we'll also do well. And it's like, no,
yes,
that did well because it was original, not because of what it was. But like
that's why the Marvel universe exists, Dave. Because you remember, Iron Man was a breath of fresh air, and then they did that 35
until
more times over the next 15 years.
Right. So there will come a point where this style of animation, we will be like, man, I'm so sick of everything looking like that. But right now, it's still the honeymoon period. That said, I will say, if you remember, when I watched Spider-Verse, I got dizzy.
Yeah.
And so this style of animation might not be for everyone, and that might be a real bummer.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of trying to put a pin in it. I don't think we're in the honeymoon period. Like, I think that animation style is very specific to Spider-Verse and the story they were telling.
Right.
It feels weird and like obviously just a knockoff in a different franchise film like this.
Yeah. But again, I am like, well, it looks good.
It feels cynical here, I'll say.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue to feel a bit cynical when everybody does it.
Yeah.
But I still think it looks good, but it's just, it looks good because it's using a style. It
looks good because
tested.
Because Spider-Verse looks good. Yeah. Yeah.
I mostly like the cast here.
Oh, I didn't look up the cast.
Oh, I think Jackie Chan's in the mix. Like there was just a bunch of.
Yeah, they named a bunch of names at the end, and I didn't absorb most of them. But Jackie Chan was definitely on there. Yeah.
I like their little Peter Laird reference. I like, and you have notes about this too.
Yeah.
For the most part, I like that they made them teenagers.
Right. It's weird to say, but like, honestly, think about every adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and honestly, the original Eastman and Laird comics even, and the current comics in IDW, they're not teenagers. They don't behave like teenagers. They don't They're nothing
They're
about
college. They're like college kids,
right. They're college age Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like none of them behave like they're 14 or 15 years old. They just
Right.
don't. They don't.
And it was jarring at first, and then in my mind it clicked of like, right, teenagers.
Right, they're supposed to be teenagers. And
Yeah.
I remember Seth Rogen, when this film was first announced, I think about 2 years ago, he tweeted a picture of like one of the Turtles' school notebook pages with a bunch of doodles on it and stuff. And I really liked that idea, is it, to convey the tone of it. And yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. It's right there in the title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Make them teenagers, so they're a little more youthful than you might be used to in this movie.
Right.
At least it seems like they're behaving like actual children, which is an interesting take on the Turtles because they've never behaved like that before.
Right. It's funny because part of me is like, I would love to see like a not because I think it'd be good, but I think it'd be funny to do like a noir gritty Ninja Turtles, like really gritted up. But I guess that's technically what Michael Bay did, and I hated that for the most part. So, like, that instinct is very self-destructive of me to say. Watching this, I'm like, yeah. Honestly, the second one was like, because they remember to have more fun.
Well, they remember to do the cartoon. There's a thing with a lot of these properties where like fans feel the need to like age them up with them, like with themselves. Like, well, I'm older now, so Turtles should be older. It's like, no, Turtles was a goofy ass cartoon for children, and it should remain that way.
Right, and those Turtles were horrifying. They continue to be horrifying because they were the most adult feeling ones, right?
In the Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. I think so the stuff that hit it the most was the TMNT movie. For me, that felt surprisingly a little more gritty. It was doing the Raphael Vigilante stuff. Point being that what I want is probably not a good idea, and it's what it sparked from is that these all generally have a tone to them that I think is unavoidable, and so this one seems to lean into it more, which I think is the good thing. Like we're saying, they're like, let's actually make them teenagers. Let's make it sillier. Yeah, this feels a little more on the silly side. Where actually, I think that's probably, at this point, the thing to do. And it's like, if I want to watch a gritty Ninja Turtles, I could watch that first original movie, which is probably as gritty as it should get.
Yeah, read the original comics, too, which is just what that first movie was adapting. Like, it kind of started there. And then, but the thing that everybody likes is the cartoon, so.
Right, and at the end of the day, it was invented by two people who were high.
Yeah,
who drew it on a bar napkin. It really doesn't matter. What matters is
the teenage. Like, yeah, right. The teenage part of the name was always just like a joke.
Yeah,
and it's never really the most it's mattered. Like the most input it's had on adaptations up to this point is that they tell jokes. Like they're kind of funny.
Right, exactly.
So it's neat to have this movie treat them like kids.
Right. There's nothing precious about Ninja Turtles, so it's kind of nice to see someone think about it a little harder and say like, yeah, let's actually make them teenagers for once.
Yeah.
Even though they're technically, I guess, they'd pretend the other ones were teenagers, but
they're absolutely not. There's no way the Raphael in the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies is a teenager.
Right. I mean, remember the fucking jokes in the original movie? They would make these like boomer jokes. They do like impressions.
Yeah, Michelangelo does an impression of James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart. It's like, what?
Exactly. It's like, classic teenage thing.
Shouldn't he be doing Michael Jackson impressions?
You're right. They weren't just not teenagers; they were like 80.
Yeah. I think other than the animation style being a complete obvious. Naked knockoff of Spider-Verse. Right. My only other complaint with this trailer is that Donatello sounds like he's 7 years old.
Yeah, what's with that?
I don't know.
Really,
like
it's a weird choice.
Like he genuinely sounds like a baby, and that's weird. That's a weird choice. If he's supposed to be 13, 14, he shouldn't fucking sound like that. He sounds like he's 7 years old. It's weird.
It's odd. And maybe that's the bit. Although it just occurred to me, Tom, is that turtles live to be very old. So maybe for turtles, teenager is actually like 60.
Oh, hey, Dave?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's also fair. I have nothing else to say about this.
Yeah.
Other than that, generally speaking, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me is like the Michael Bay ones were a little frustrating. But for the most part, the adaptations, including the cartoons, the new cartoons, the old ones, it's all gravy. You know, like it's just
fine.
like, yeah.
I honestly wish more of these, and it looks like, because clearly Bebop and Rocksteady are in this movie. We see them in the trailer. I wish more of the adaptations would adapt the cartoon show, because the cartoon show and the action figures, because that's what everyone likes.
Right, at least like the tone.
And like the art, not necessarily the art style, but like the look of the way the way the characters look. Like it should look like the cartoon and the action figures, because that's what people fucking likes.
Yeah. They definitely have to, like, I don't know. Wasn't there that like fucking rabbit?
Usagi Yojimbo, he's a different comic that did a crossover with Turtles.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
I at least want to see the fucking neutrinos.
I want to see the neutrinos. I want to see Leatherhead. I want to see Slash. Right. I want to see all the dumb action figures that I bought as a child in a movie. Why is that so hard? Why has it taken fucking 4 decades?
The problem is, honestly, it's Transformers' fault, right? Because that first Transformers movie also had that problem where it was like, well, we want to take this seriously. It's got to be serious. And so they didn't like just do because both Transformers and Ninja Turtles, yes, was technically a comic first, but that comic wasn't very precious. And then they sold it off to a toy company. Like not sold it off, but they sold the cartoon rights.
Yeah.
To, I think, Playtime Toys.
Well, they sold toys first to Playmates,
right?
And then Playmates produced the cartoon to sell the toys,
and that's what people have this reverence for.
Yes, that's what people liked about the Turtles. Nobody read that fucking comic outside of Massachusetts,
or like weird comic book nerds. Yeah, and nothing against Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. Not that they would care. Again. Can't stress this enough. They did this as a joke.
Yeah.
It's a very lucrative joke.
Yeah. It's the most lucrative joke in history, just about.
Yeah. And so, like, point being that, like, if you're gonna recreate it, recreate the thing that sparked that love.
Yeah.
And that's what that is. But I feel like we had that Michael Bay era where it was like, no, it has to be serious. And then they made a Ninja Turtles like that too. And luckily, as you point out in the sequel, they were like, okay, let's drop all of that bullshit.
Yeah. Let's finally put Bebop and Rocksteady into a movie after fucking 4 decades. Like, why the hell did it take you that long to put Bebop and Rocksteady into a movie?
It's so weird that Secret of the Ooze was like, we have to call them something different. It's like, why? What writer was like, it's not realistic. We have to make them different animals or something.
There was something like, I feel like,
was there like a rights issue
I feel like I read that it was a legal thing.
Maybe.
Where it's sort of like He-Man. Right. I may be speaking out of my ass as far as Turtles, but I know that the He-Man movie, the one with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella, had the rights to the He-Man.
Right, that makes sense. Yes, like if they have the right to the comic, but not the cartoon,
or it was something like that. So they couldn't put so instead of Orko, they had Gwildor, that dwarf character that they invented.
I bet that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
So they had to invent a bunch of new bad guys that were like similar to existing characters in He-Man. I mean, they still had Beastman and Skeletor, but anyway.
Right. Anyway.
The point is, just put fucking the toys in the movie. That's all I care about.
Yeah, now they are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's all fine.
All right, well, next trailer. This is for an Apple TV, I want to say movie?
Yes, it's a movie.
Called Ghosted. This is a comedy action. It's True Lies.
It's True Lies,
that's not, there's nothing wrong with that. I will take 10 True Lieses. Jamie Lee Curtis in this case is Chris Evans, and Ana de Armas is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I want to see them fight people. I want to see them fuck. This is two good-looking people. The idea is that he goes on a date with her and she ghosts him, hence the title. He goes to track her down in a very... from the advice of Amy Sedaris, where I was like, oh my God, look out. It's Jerry from Strangers with Kids. She's going to take advantage of you, Chris Evans. But he goes to another country and finds out she's a spy. And then it's like a fun buddy comedy spy romance.
Yeah, like an
with
action
Chris
comedy.
Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Adrian Brody is the villain.
Adrian Brody's doing some kind of accent. It's incredible.
I fucking love the cast. I can't stress enough. You don't see Amy Sedaris and things enough, so it was just nice seeing her as well.
Well, she's in
like,
The Mandalorian, but yeah, she's not in.
Wait,
not
she is?
Yes.
I gotta
not
rewatch
not
that.
in movies as often though.
Yeah. I just gotta say Chris Evans is doing comedy again. If people recall, that's kind of where he started, right?
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
He was in Not Another Teen Movie.
He sure was, and he's great in it.
He is. So I don't know. I'm just generally pro this movie. You have any thoughts?
It looks fine.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's
I'm
not going
into
to be
it.
amazing.
It looks
Yeah.
fine. Like it's weird to me that major studios like Apple, which has a ton of money, is still producing big movies like this for streaming. Because the numbers, it's been 3 years and change. The numbers have borne out and shown that it's just not it's just not profitable to produce and release movies in this way. But Apple is sticking to it, man. So.
I think where we went wrong, right, is like, okay, so we're not gonna have a video store anymore. Why can't Apple produce a movie that then goes into theaters?
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Gets a buzz and then goes to their streaming service after that.
Right.
That would be acceptable.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I said it's been 3 years. It's like when every studio doubled down on releasing movies directly to streaming during the pandemic is what I was referring to.
Yeah, and we do need. Yeah. I think it would be nice to regard these types of movies as theatrical movies. You know what I mean?
Right. It's so weird to just sort of like dump it on a streaming service where it's been 3 years. We know that like you dump it on a streaming service. People don't feel urgency. It just sort of kind of lands like a dead fish. Like it just doesn't make much of an impact when you just unload a movie onto a streaming service.
Yeah, and this looks like it would be a blast in theaters.
Yeah,
so,
this is the kind of thing, like with the stars in it and the production value that looks like it has behind it and the amount of money Apple has, and I'm sure they spent a bunch of money on this movie. Put it into theaters. What are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe this is why we're still able to get mid-budget, because this is mid-budget action, right? Something that feels like has gone kind of extinct. And maybe the only reason we can is because they can't spend money on a theatrical release, that they're like, which if that's, I don't actually know for sure, but if that's the exchange, then I'd rather have the movie exist than not at all,
That's fair.
But it is still a bummer.
Yeah,
if that's the situation.
Right. It sucks that the only thing that goes to theaters is Marvel movies and shit on like $300 million movie. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Give us some $50 million Chris Evans and Ana de Armas palling around and getting into action fights on a globe-trotting adventure, Dave, with Adrian Brody doing a weird-ass voice. I don't know what he's doing.
It's perfect. He's doing villain voice.
He's doing villain voice, yeah. He's doing Boris Badenov.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for this. It doesn't look amazing, but I just like a good, competent action.
Yeah. I'm excited to forget this exists and never watch it. Because that's what happens when you release a movie directly on streaming.
On Apple TV, I don't know about you, I don't browse Apple TV. I go on there if there's something specific that I'm looking for. Otherwise, this is going to just get buried.
Yeah, it'll just get buried.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that are going to get buried, and also Marvel, I guess, Citadel. This is The Long Kiss Goodnight.
It's a new action adventure series from the Russo brothers. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. It stars Richard Madden, who you probably know as Robb Stark from Game of Thrones, and Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who you know from, I think it was called Quantico. the TV show that she was on. Anyway,
Man.
she is a sleeper agent who, it's Long Kiss Goodnight, like you were saying. She's a sleeper agent who doesn't remember she was a sleeper agent, and Richard Madden is another agent trying to get her back in the game, and then Stanley Tucci shows up.
He does. And to tell dad jokes.
Yeah.
he's like he's like Spy Daddy.
Right. He's their Bosley, but he's also telling dad jokes.
Yeah. This is it's fine. I don't know. I like seeing an ironic ski henchman, and I kind of fantasize a future where we'll get back into like pre-Shane Black action. You know what I mean? Where action doesn't have to be meta. And we could take it like seriously and then make fun of it again. And so like just seeing ski henchmen gave me a little hope of like, yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. That said, this looks frightfully generic.
It looks like everything the Russo brothers make. Like it's just, it looks fine, but like nothing that's gonna, I don't know. Like there's nothing about it that makes it seem urgent, like I need to watch it. Like it just seems like, oh, okay, this will probably be fine. I
wonder,
I don't know,
how do you think they're doing? Because like I was thinking about this, is making a Marvel movie doesn't really, like, even if it's a successful Marvel movie, which of course the Russo brothers have made several, I don't know how much that helps you as a director. You know what I mean?
I think they're just producing this, but I don't think it helps them at all in terms of directing.
I really don't think it does. I don't think. Yeah.
What seems to have happened is by happenstance, just because they were the people in the room that were most agreeable to Marvel and most reliable to Marvel, they directed the most successful movie of all time. So.
Yes. For people listening going, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sure that has an effect on a career. Like, no doubt their names, if their names are attached to a project, that gets the project attention for sure. That's
what I was saying. That's what I was building up to. It's they directed Avengers Endgame, which is the biggest movie in the world, but like they don't have any real unique talent or vision themselves, at least not from the movies of theirs that I've seen them direct. So it's more of just like they get into the room and get their projects made because their name it has such pedigree because it's attached to this $3 billion Marvel film that conquered the world. And like, it just seems like they don't really have that many ideas.
Yeah. That's the thing is, and I just think, I think in general, there might be in the industry, people might start realizing that, right? It's like, if someone's like, well, I directed a Marvel film, they'll be like, oh, so you can follow directions, but can you make a film? You know what I mean?
You can do what you're told, yeah.
Yeah, but it also it'll probably boost a lot of careers that deserve to be boosted. But
sure.
I think we'll also get a J.J. Abrams effect, where we'll get a bunch of people who got their foot in the door and then just sort of exist.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like for people who want J.J. Abrams, for example, like, what has he really done lately? Like he did a couple things starting out, and then he's now just a producer, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that in this industry. I was talking to someone, I won't name names, who knows someone who's an assistant for two showrunners who for the last like 3 years haven't done anything but are just being paid by the studio. There's a lot of middle management because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I agree with you where it's like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this doesn't feel like it is made by the people who made one of the biggest films of all time.
No, it looks like a very expensive, bland piece of toast.
Right. And so it's just interesting of that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And seeing it. I don't know. I don't think it's good. It probably can be both good and bad.
It just everything about it is just a cliche. Like it's nothing about it is original or unique. It's just stuff we've all seen before. Even the jokes that are in the trailer are all just things we've
it's not
heard
very
before.
Exciting.
It's just, man, what a wet fart. Like, okay, fine. Like, I'm glad you spent $100 million on this TV show.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I hope they can find stuff in the future that will, because it feels like the last thing they did also felt like this. And I don't know. There's so many like generic spy TV shows,
Yeah.
That this is gonna just fall through the cracks for me.
I think it's going to fall through the cracks for most people.
Mm-hmm. You know what won't? On a Wing and a Prayer. This is Dennis Quaid in the true story of a guy with his family on a small...
Just a humble family man, Dave.
Yeah, just a humble family man, and the pilot on this like small plane dies.
Yeah.
And he has to land the plane, and that's the story.
Yeah. And it's this real faith-based thing. They're like it happened on Easter, and they're releasing it on Easter, and it's the Wing and a Prayer, and it's all about like you just have to believe you can land the plane. I'm like, that's not how it fucking works, but that's fine.
Yeah, what's funny about this is that it doesn't explicitly say it, but it's got real like you said, faith-based vibes.
It's very clearly a faith-based film, even though it's being released, I think, on Amazon, which it's not traditionally a platform for faith-based films. So you're right. They do everything but flat out say it's because of Dennis Quaid's belief in Jesus that he was able to land this plane.
Right. And this would almost be a good idea for a movie, except for that. It's getting in the way.
Right.
Like I've said this before. The problem with faith-based movies isn't the faith that they're pushing. It's that if you prioritize an ideology over a movie, over a plot, it's going to be bad. Same happened with fucking W or any liberal, extreme left-leaning movie or extreme right-leaning movie.
Here's what I'll compare it to. It would be like if Apollo 13 didn't have any of the stuff about the astronauts scrambling to find solutions, the NASA engineers on the ground scrambling to find solutions, and trying desperately to communicate. If it took all of the stuff about how hard everyone worked to get that spaceship back home, threw all that out, and instead just had Tom Hanks pray really hard, and it all worked out.
Exactly.
Like it's like
that's a perfect analogy.
You're focusing on the wrong thing in this movie.
And by doing that, you can see a way better movie.
Right. Like
where it's like, this actually would be really good.
Right. This is a compelling story. A fucking guy who's just going up with his family on a plane ride, and the pilot has a heart attack and dies, and now he's got to land this plane. He's never even attempted to fly a plane before. That's an interesting movie.
Right. It's a very simple, very compelling. Right. And there's pieces of it in this. They have little pieces where they have like a guy who's like, you're the only person who can talk him down, and they have elements of it, but it's like it's crowded by this fucking weird vibe.
Yeah, it's like, it's on Easter. It's okay. It's Easter Sunday. Jesus will help him down. It's like man. And also Dennis Quaid's accent is abominable in this movie. How dare he attempt to do that Southern accent?
Yeah.
He's doing a Southern accent that sounds like Foghorn Leghorn on a lot of drugs.
Yeah. Drugged up Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn, if he just got hit in the head with a fucking stanchion from a line at a movie theater.
Right. I will say that I love Dennis Quaid's career because he's not picky, man.
I never would have been able to predict Dennis Quaid's career.
He was in that dog movie.
He sure was.
He was in movie 43. He has an upcoming movie where he plays Reagan. He's played George Bush in a parody. So it's like he'll do anything. He doesn't fucking matter. If he's an actor. That's all. He's just like, yeah, you give me a fucking role, I'll do it.
He's like,
what is this faith-based movie about landing a plane? Man, if the price is right. I'll do it.
He's an actor. He's a bit of a right-wing ghoul, but not like hardcore enough to be in like Daily Wire movies. So he's like right up against that line.
Right. He he is a right-wing ghoul, but he's also made like that stupid American Dreams movie. Yeah. He's playing a parody of George Bush that's not flattering. So it's like, I think what it comes down to is he's just an actor. Like he might have like specific beliefs, but in terms of the jobs he takes, he's like, I don't give a fuck, man. Yeah. Just give me whatever. I'll do it. You give me the right money, I'll be in a porn. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's my job.
Someone give him enough money to be in a porn. I guess that's what movie 43 was.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. I think we waited too long for that.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of passed prime porn shelf age.
Well, yeah, but
Maybe
that doesn't mean we can't watch
maybe
him.
not. He's still Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, he's Jaws 3's Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jaws 3D's.
Jaws
Dennis
3D's
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. That's correct.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
I'll watch this.
I mean, we'll probably watch this on a movie night. It looks dumb as hell. It looks so stupid.
Yeah. Speaking of which, this we covered. So when you were gone, we covered the teaser for this called "The Big Door Prize." We already, without seeing much, we already kind of tore into it as being like very clearly mystery box garbage. This is the actual trailer for it. It's about a vending machine that shows you your life potential in this small town. My note seeing this main trailer is that it's Banshees of Inisherin, but less subtle.
Right. Less subtle, less artfully handled. It stars Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
It's in a small village. They get this vending machine. Nobody knows where it came from. And you press a button. It gives you a little ticket that tells you, you could be this. And people start upending their lives because of it. And I sort of...
Yeah, it's about potential. Oh, I wasted my potential in this small town, etc.
I sort of hate this message.
Yes. Well, okay, here's my...
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, maybe you still might hate the message, but here's what I think the message is going to be, right? In the end, it's going to be, again, less subtle than Banshees, and it'll be like, who cares? Like, it's going to be, the lesson will be, we're happy where we were. Like, it's not about your aspirations. It's not about that you could have been president. What matters is that you're a good person here and now. That's what I assume it'll be.
Honestly, I hope that's the message, because, like, from the trailer, it's just like people upending their lives for this theoretical person they could be.
Right. I just assumed that's going to be seen as bad ultimately.
I hope so, because, like, part of what made Banshees of Inisherin so good was that it was a complicated question, where it was like, is your life worthwhile just because you're happy, or is the worth of your life defined by how happy you are, or is the worth of your life defined by what you accomplish? That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
And Banshees of Inisherin is a complex movie that tackles attacks this question, and is pretty brutal about it. This film feels like the Disney Channel version of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be less subtle. It's going to be more of like a blunt instrument where it might even come down on one or the other instead of saying it's a gray area, you know?
Right. Like, I feel like this movie is it's going to come down hard on one side or the other. But the thing that makes me a little more irritated is when movies come out that say that you should aspire for greatness, or I don't know. I'm not articulating it very well, but there's like, I feel like it's kind of a dangerous thought, or not a dangerous thought, but a harmful thought to be like, you could be so much more. And if you just found your hidden potential, you could become this great thing. That's not true for most people. And it's it's not helpful to give people messages that say that. So it's like, I don't know if I'm articulating it very well, but
no, you're saying that no matter what it concludes, the starting premise that everybody has secret unlocked potential is toxic.
Yes.
It's a bad idea.
Right.
Because even if they say, but who cares? It's still like, well, it
still puts that doubt in you, where it's like, maybe I'm an awesome piano player and I never played piano, or it's like, it makes you start to, and we see it happen in the trailer. It happens to Chris O'Dowd in the trailer, where he starts to he's happy, but his happiness starts to diminish when he starts thinking about, am I supposed to be more than this?
Right. Which I think is the point. I think ultimately they're going to say like that they're going to be on the right side of the message for the most part. But as Banshees explained, it's just more complex than that. Yeah. And it's smaller scale. Like, these people are getting these things that are saying like, you were supposed to be a celebrity and stuff like that.
And Banshees is just, Brendan Gleeson doesn't want to be friends with Colin Farrell anymore because he thinks he's wasting his time.
Yep. And also his aspirations. Banshees talks about aspirations being like, no, it's just about improving your life, not being the president. Right. Like, that's the other part, is that by saying like your ultimate potential is to be a celebrity, they're also saying being a celebrity is the best thing. And it's like, no, that's why it's more subtle than that.
Yeah.
Like being a celebrity, it doesn't make you better. And in fact, like there's no way to weigh what is maximum potential.
Right. Like you're right. Like one of the characters in the trailer is like, oh, I'm supposed to be a dancer. It's like, well, how does that change your life?
Your right. And if for example, like by becoming a dancer, they don't meet somebody else or like they change someone else's life, like how do you define a maximum potential? And this just doesn't feel like it's equipped to handle that question. I hope it does. Maybe it will, but this trailer doesn't.
It's a bad trailer. It's a very Disney. Yeah. It's a very Disney trailer. It's apparently based on a novel. So I assume the actual story is probably a little bit more complex than what this trailer is conveying. But like this trailer just looks like the kind of
stuff.
Yeah, it's just trash that I don't need to watch.
Again, trailers lack nuance already. But then when you watch the trailer for Banshees, for example, they don't try to pitch that, right? Because they know you can't pitch that in a trailer. Whereas this is like trying to pitch a nuanced idea in a trailer. And it's like, maybe the trailer's just not doing it justice.
Right. Like
either way, it feels very unsubtle.
Right.
Because,
like it's encouraging people to wait for fucking Hagrid to come to their house and say, you're a wizard. And it's like, well,
right.
Not everybody's a wizard, man. I don't know.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's, I don't know, mystery boxy in a way that makes me go,
Well, that's less so for me. Like the mystery box element of it is where did the machine come from and how does it make these decisions? I think that's immaterial. I don't think that matters.
You're right. They actually say in there that it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's just it's planting the idea in people's head, which is what this trailer is doing.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Like, you're not supposed to be married to this guy. Oh, I should just divorce him because
right.
It's not my
That's
full potential.
Also part of what it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong here. Is that like it's planting the idea and then disproving it? An idea that like I never really had to begin with.
That's another thing where the trailer sort of like undercuts itself. So it's like, what am I supposed to feel when I'm watching this?
Right. It's like it'd be like a kid's cartoon being like, hey kids, don't kill your parents. It'd be really easy to do, and we know you want to, but don't do it. And it's like, well, I didn't want to till you started telling me.
But if you kill your parents, you get a bunch of money, but then you'll be sad. So don't kill your parents. End of trailer. It's like, well, I feel like I'm right back where I started, where I'm not going to kill my parents.
Presenting a problem that they're then. Whereas Banshees kind of starts from a grounded reality where you're like, I can relate to this feeling that they're having, that like Brendan Gleeson is having, right? Like you can understand where he's coming from because it's just a little more obtainable. And again, a little more subtle. I don't know. Speaking of, I don't know, sci-fi stuff, I'm so excited for this next trailer, Tom. Simulant.
Oh, yeah.
I just need to say the first line of the trailer is a company saying, we ensure all simulants obey the precepts. And that's all you need to know. Where I was like, oh, okay, so this is dumb.
Yeah, that's the verbal equivalent of banging action figures together. It's like, oh, the Gleep Glorps need to recognize the floop-de-doos.
And what it comes down to is, this is Blade Runner.
It's essentially, yeah, it's Blade Runner.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say. Is that, remember when Ethan Hawke made a movie that sure looked like Time Cop? And then you watch it and it was Predestination.
Yeah, and it was incredible.
Yeah, and that's all to say, like, there could be more here, but it doesn't,
Yeah, so
the trailer's not making me.
Right, so basically the trailer is it's a future world where people have simulants, which are basically replicants from Blade Runner. It's just extremely humanoid robots that live in your home, and then this one robot played by Robbie Amell, starts to have memories of his prior life because I guess they use human DNA to make these robots. And it turns out that like his owner, this lady, I forget who the actress is like, he's starting to have memories of my husband's life. Like her husband died in an accident and she got a robot made of him to live in her house. And now she's like alarmed that she's starting to behave like her husband.
Right.
Sam
I don't know
Worthington's
what you wanted.
Sam Worthington's running around in there. He's clearly the Blade Runner character. Like, he's the Harrison Ford character where he's there to exterminate simulants that are, like, getting out of line.
And he has a mustache,
He
Tom.
sure does, Dave. And earrings.
Yeah, he looks like a real dirtbag.
And a skull cap. He looks amazing.
Yeah. It's like, what if you took RoboCop and Blade Runner and all in Ex Machina and stripped it down to the simplest, most bland form? It's like the plain yogurt of those concepts to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying, like, surely you wouldn't just make that movie. So maybe there's something in this that they can't tell us, and because they can't tell us, they have nothing to sell for us. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Predestination is kind of like that, where, like, if you put in the trailer what made Predestination interesting, then you can't, like, you'd spoil the movie.
Yeah.
So the trailer just looks really generic because of that.
I think I would agree with you, except I have a more fundamental problem with the premise, where it's like, you know, obviously the idea of, like, what does it mean to be alive? What is consciousness? You know, like, how do we evaluate that? The whole Blade Runner thing. Obviously, that's compelling. But, like, this movie is starting from a point where it's like this woman had a robot clone of her husband made, and now she's upset that it's, like, having her husband's memories. So it's like, it's not like science fiction. Give me a sec. Like, science fiction, like, is normally tackling some sort of problem or question or paradox that people think about, you know, like with Blade Runner. It's like, well, as we continue to develop AI, how do we decide when something is alive? You know, things like that. But, like, this problem that the movie presents us with, like, your husband died, so you made a robot clone of him, is not a problem anyone can relate to.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not a thing. It's not a thing most people would do. Like, if your husband died, or your significant other died, you wouldn't make a robot clone that doesn't have any of their memories, but just looks exactly like them, to live in your house and do errands and chores for you. That's a fucking insane thing to do. Right.
If they were like, you know, what if through grief someone tried to recreate a robot? You know, I do believe Steven Spielberg made a movie called AI, Artificial Intelligence, about this. Like, what if in our grief we tried to replace it with a robot? What if in her grief she made a robot that she wanted to be like her husband?
But that's not what he's doing.
But,
like, she didn't make a robot to be her husband. She made a robot to be her, like, houseboy, I guess. Like, it's a weird place to begin. It's like not a place. I don't know.
It's one of those things that if someone said it, you'd go, oh, there's something wrong with you. Where someone's like, listen, AI is a slippery slope. One day we'll be making a sex doll, like, maids of our dead spouses, you know? And it's like, what?
Yep.
No, we won't. No one wants that.
I hear you, man.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's starting from and, like, again, in general, the first shot of this is literally like a nerfed Blade Runner city shot. It's just very generic, and you're right. Is like the problems presented, at least in the trailer, are just so incredibly weird.
Right, like, it's like sci-fi.
They're painting a picture where I'm like, it's a lot of dystopian stuff do this, where they're like, imagine a future where this and this and this, and it's like, how would we even get to that point? Like, you'd have to ignore human nature.
Right, exactly. Like, you know, sci-fi is supposed to be meditative, especially like futurist and stuff that's in that vein, where it's like, it's supposed to be meditative. It's supposed to be like, well, you know, kind of borderline satirical. It's like, well, what if we took this current idea that is in society and took it to an extreme conclusion? But it's like, it's the same sort of feeling I got watching Battle Royale, even though I love that movie. And then by extension, The Hunger Games, where it's like they present this post-apocalyptic future where it's like, every year a certain amount of your kids are going to have to go to an island and fight to the death. And it's like, why the fuck would that happen? And, like, why would anybody quietly agree? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's wild.
Hunger Games is the worst one, in my opinion, because Battle Royale to me is in Escape from New York territory, where it's like, heightened reality, and it's kind of tongue in cheek.
Right, but it's the exact same idea where it's the exact same explanation where they're like, well, if you send us, if this is a way to pacify the people, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like it's not
100%.
So
I'd say Hunger Games is the worst one because they're trying to make it serious, and they're like, slippery slope. One day we'll be holding murder events where we make our kids fight, and it's like,
or make our kids fight to decide who gets food. No, we won't. We would send our best fucking fighters.
Right.
We wouldn't do a random lottery of teenagers. What the fuck is this world?
And especially in the introduction of Hunger Games is like, and look how upset everybody is about it. And it's like, yeah, why would they?
So they wouldn't
have agreed to do this.
So it's like, so in the same vein, this movie Simulant is like, you know how when you get a robot duplicate made of your dead spouse and they start behaving like your dead spouse and you get all freaked out and it's like a weird moral conundrum. It's like, wait, I wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't do that.
It's yeah, exactly. It's fucking. It's the I think you should leave sketches.
Right.
About, it's Turbo Time. Has this ever happened to you?
Right.
Like it's just like, no, this has never happened to literally anybody.
Right. It's meditating on a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot of dystopians in this one because the next one is Silo. Silo, they're living. It's a TV series. They're like, we're living in a silo. What's this silo about? We should figure out what the silo is. If we leave the silo, we might get killed. It looks fine. It just also screams of the mystery box.
Yeah.
Yeah, good cast.
It's got Rebecca Ferguson. Somebody else is in it. I forget. Anyway.
There's a silo. They keep saying silo, and that's why it's
say
very funny.
They say it a lot in this trailer.
Like, I can't believe... I'm sick of all these silos.
Can you believe all these silos popping up?
Yeah,
on every street corner.
It better not be just the island. Like doesn't it have that? Like literally, they have a line going. Someone saying like, "Don't you ever wonder if your world is a lie?" Like there's lines like that in it where they're just screaming at us like this is an alien zoo, or they're clones.
Like like you said, the island. I'm a little.
It's just.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, it just screams that thing where the whole time I'm watching, I'll just be like, just tell me what it is. What's the thing? What's the big thing? Because there's a big thing that this is, and just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little more optimistic about this because I like the cast, and I noticed that it's based on a book series. So I assume they are going to get out of the silo probably at the end of the first season. And then,
I fucking hope
and then the story is going to expand from there. I assume that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, or it's just going to be season after season of them not getting out of the goddamn
I can't imagine
silo.
It's going to be multiple seasons of them figuring out that the silo is fucked and yet not being able to get out of the silo.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so much cheaper to not leave the silo.
It's extremely true, Dave.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, it's the same with that fucking, already forgot the name, Big Door Prize. That was based off a book. But, like, you know, it sort of depends on them doing the right thing. And maybe they will. You're right. Tim Robbins, that's who else is in it. And Will Patton. So, yeah, there is a lot of, like, fuckable old guys in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it does look good. Like, it aesthetically looks good. And, you know, I'm judging it from a trailer. It's one of the directors directed Passengers, Tom.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But they didn't write it. It's just giving me that vibe, you know? It's those alarms are going off in my head of like, oh, this seems like a show that'll really frustrate me.
Yeah.
But maybe not, you know? Silo.
Yeah, maybe. Either way,
Silo.
I'm not going to watch it. Like, I'm never going to watch this show.
Yeah, the tagline is "The truth will surface." And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, it's dangling.
Yep.
Like, you want to know what the silo is. Like, this is one where it's like, I probably won't watch it, and I might just Google, like, so what's the silo? What is it? What are they, clones? What is it?
It's a book series. You could do it right now.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you could search right now and find out unlock the mystery of the silo, Dave.
All right. Just what Twilight Zone episode is this?
Yeah.
Are they toys? What is it? All right. Oh my God, we got 2 more trailers. Saving the best for last. So We have no hard feelings. This just dropped.
It did.
This is Jennifer Lawrence in a very uncomfortable
Right, it's
trailer.
Jennifer Lawrence in a raunchy comedy where she answers a Craigslist ad put out by these parents for their 19-year-old son, where they basically he's a weirdo, doesn't fit in, he's socially awkward. They want somebody to fuck their son so that he becomes normal, quote unquote, before he goes off to college. And Jennifer Lawrence is answering the call. Yeah,
and it's Matthew Broderick with like a terrifying haircut.
He looks incredible. Yeah. He has like Kurt Russell hair. It's Matthew Broderick with Snake Plissken hair.
Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, I think comedy, she could do comedy well. But like, boy, this is really uncomfortable.
This trailer, watching this trailer, it felt immediately dated. Like it felt like watching a comedy from the 1980s. Where it's like, right. I can tell all of this is going to be so fucking problematic and incendiary within months after it releases. And also, it's a premise about an adult woman trying to fuck a teenager.
That's literally what it's about. It's about an adult woman trying to fuck a 19-year-old for money. Because she doesn't have any money. It starts with her going like, "I'm an Uber driver without any."
She needs to save her house. They throw that in there at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, and so she's desperate. And she's going to do this thing, and then it's wacky adventure. He maces her, which I didn't mind that idea. But the whole joke is, of course, like, who wouldn't want to fuck Jennifer Lawrence? And it's like...
I don't know. This kid, apparently.
Yeah, with a nightmare parents. Like, that's what they're talking about here. Is the parents are a fucking nightmare. And obviously, it's probably based off some, like, New Yorker article about incels or something. Yeah, you know, like, it just feels... It just feels like one of those where I think it's going to unite the world and everybody going, this is fucked up.
It looks really, really bad. It's the most, and like the trailer is like very proudly red band. It's one of those movies that's very proudly raunchy. So like when you're watching it, first of all, it thinks it's a little more edgy than it is. Because the edgiest thing about it is its premise. Like everything they show us in the trailer is just like, okay, whatever. But like, so it's one of those movies that's like desperate to offend people, and yet at the same time, it's like this is a movie that's just generally bad for society. Like this is bad. Like,
yeah,
it's part of that whole like. Reverse swap the genders. Make Jennifer Lawrence a 35-year-old man trying to fuck a 19-year-old girl, and then you see what the problem is.
But it's from the director of Bad Teacher in Year One.
Sure.
So, or from the writer. Sorry, from the writer. It's I don't know, man.
It perpetuates that idea that like.
No, it's just gross. It's
gross.
It's
gross.
It's one of those plots where I'm like, I can't believe this is made today, and then I just felt really uncomfortable watching.
Yeah, it's like any story that comes out about like a woman teacher having sex with a male student, and like invariably a high percentage of the comments are just people posting the South Park meme of the cop saying "nice."
Right, exactly.
It's like, dude, no, this is bad. Like, this is bad, and it's
just imagine any plot about an adult trying to fuck a teenager.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
bad.
What you got here.
It's bad, and all the joke and beyond that, the comedy's bad. Like all the jokes in the trailer, just rely on people saying "fuck" at the right time, kind of like it's like very obvious, very lazy. Quote unquote raunchy humor. Like I said, it's a movie that's trying very hard to offend you.
Right.
It's just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing from beginning to end. It's embarrassing. It's bad. Like it's I think it's actually bad for society. This is just this trailer sucks.
Yeah, it's actively trying to hurt us.
Yeah, this trailer sucks.
I would mace this trailer. I would mace this trailer. If it walked up to me on the streets. Okay, final trailer. Best for last this time for real. Supercell. This is This is a hell of a movie. It's like serious Twister.
This is what if Twister didn't have any money.
Yeah. And the cast is shocking. Obviously was filmed a while ago. And boy, it's got Anne Heche, Alec Baldwin, and Skeet Ulrich.
Sure does.
And that's a hell of a fucking lineup there. Skeet Ulrich, they like hide until the end where they're like, also Skeet Ulrich, and I'm like, what?
He's the first person. He's the first person they name too when they're going through the cast. So that they hide him. They hide him for the whole trailer, and then all of a sudden at the end they're like Skeet Ulrich. I'm like, what the fuck?
Starring Skeet Ulrich, because it's very clear Alec Baldwin is not in it much. Anne Heche isn't in it much. I'm pretty sure like they were like ashamed. Skeet. I don't know what's going on there.
I think
it's about a young boy whose father was a.
They're just leaning into Alec
chaser.
Baldwin and Anne Heche because they're in headlines right now.
Right,
That's
exactly.
all. But yeah, it's Twister.
That's bleak.
It's Twister. It's a storm chaser whose parent was killed by a Twister, and now they want to throw little diodes up into a Twister to get measurements and shit.
Yeah,
it's literally
Twister. And I don't know. I'll watch like 70 different Twisters. So this is fine.
We are gonna watch this on a movie night. There's no way we're not.
100%.
This movie looks like dog shit.
It does not look great.
It looks terrible.
Well, it looks like I said, drama Twister. Like it's Twister, but it's not like fun. We're having fun. It's like it feels like it's like trying to pull it like your heartstrings in a way. It's trying to be like an indie art house Twister.
No, I don't like
which
that
is just
at all.
such a very weird version of Twister. And I'm just so curious to know, because this trailer is really trying to make it seem less like an adventure movie and more like a dramatic indie film.
I don't like that.
I know, but I'm so curious because it's like, yeah, we had the same instinct where we're watching and you're like, I see you, Twister. I see that you're Twister. Don't try to hide that you're Twister.
Yeah, don't try to pretend that you're not Twister.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll definitely watch this.
Yeah.
Possibly multiple times.
Yeah. Possibly this weekend. I don't know what's going to
happen. Only if it's out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we name more producers?
We should.
All right. Big thank you to Deborah is awesome. Barbara is great and cancer can go to hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Driftless wrote Mabel's name in the Witch's Book of Blood.
Thank you.
Thank you to E.T. the extravagant terresticle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Evil Ed 209.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J Mostly Comes Out at Night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Thank you.
And thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you so much. All right, let me jump in here.
Yeah.
Thank you to Ombre Says Mabel, Step on Me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net, the new quarterly anthology featuring works from creators like Michael Swaim.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I think, that just came out, actually.
Did it? Nice.
I think so, yeah. Hana retweeted it. Don't you know? Don't you know that?
Oh, I should probably retweet it. Fuck.
Thank you to James Cameron's Prolapse Locomotive.
Also just came out.
Yes. Just came out of his ass.
Yep.
Thank you to Chris Shanovic.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mom on a Podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's Confusingly Large Dick Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you.
And thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream and Space McNulty.
Thank you. Okay. News stories.
Yes.
John Bernthal coming back as the Punisher. Also, the Jessica Jones they're talking about. He's going to be in the new Daredevil series.
John Bernthal is returning as the Punisher in the new Daredevil series.
That's correct.
Okay.
But also, they're going to make more Jessica Jones. I also saw.
Ooh.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. That might be more of a rumor, but this one, it excites me because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really liked all the Netflix Marvel stuff, even the bad stuff I really liked. And the Punisher was a delight, I thought. Both seasons.
I didn't watch I didn't watch the Punisher show, but I watched season 2 of Daredevil where he showed up. And
right,
I thought he was great.
Punisher keeps Punisher keeps trying to kill people, and Daredevil's like, stop killing people. But of course, Daredevil
also kills people.
Yeah, he'll kick a guy off the roof and then be like, Punisher, stop shooting people. That's mean. It's like, what do you think happened to that man? You kicked off the roof?
Yeah. Where do you think he went?
You think he's doing well?
You think he landed on a marshmallow?
Yeah. But I don't know. I think they've been saying that Disney Plus will probably nerf it a little. I honestly don't think that's so like there was an element where in Daredevil when like Kingpin fucking decapitated a guy with a car door.
Yep.
There was an element of like, oh my God, that's incredible that they did that. But I don't need it to be horrendously gory. And I would argue they're not actually that gory or bloody
and that
anyway.
I can't speak for the other shows, but in Daredevil, that was done purposefully, right? It was to make because it happened about halfway through the season, so it was done to make you realize the kind of threat Kingpin was. Right.
So I am scared about what they might do because did you see Hawkeye?
No.
All I can say is Kingpin is in Hawkeye, and they kind of Marvelified him. What I mean by that is like he felt lightly superhuman, and it felt more cartoony. And so I'm a little worried in that like what it really is about Daredevil to me is not how much blood and guts are being shown. It's the old boy sequence. It's when he fights the guys in the hallway and they show like this is a problem. And they show him constantly like being fucked up, and they're showing that it's like the plot really slows down often because he gets his ass kicked.
Right. They're showing the actual physical personal stakes of being a superhero is that you're gonna get fucked up night after night.
Right. And I do feel like Disney's Marvel will touch on that a little bit. Like Hawkeye does touch on that. Like you probably hear he's like deaf in one ear.
Yes.
Throughout. Yeah. They did touch on that ideas, but it does feel a little nerfed. And that is really what like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Punisher, what I liked about those series is that they were very much based around characters too. You know what I mean? Like they put the characters first for the action. It felt a lot more gritty. And I don't know, I guess as long as they still have the same people making it, I don't think it'll be a problem if Disney's like, can't show as much gore. It's like, sure, right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, as long as the subject matter is still allowed to be as intense as it is.
Yeah. You should watch those Punishers. They are good. I thought they were good.
All right, I'll give it a shot. If they're still allowed to remain on Netflix, or are they on?
That's a good point.
Are they on Disney Plus now?
I think they're on Disney Plus now.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think they did good with them. Although I will say it's. I think the instinct would be like, why not make a Punisher continue the show? I do kind of think like there's nowhere to go with him as much. That, I mean, you know the comics more than me, so I could be completely wrong.
No, I agree with you. I think Punisher in general works better as a secondary character or even as a villain, which is kind of what he was in season 2 of Daredevil.
You're right, and in his own TV show, what was kind of neat is it was a little more episodic in the sense that or like more of an anthology where both of the 2 seasons were kind of different plots too. And I guess Jessica Jones was the same way. And so it's like you could in theory keep having like, oh, okay, and here's a new villain for this season, but it just seemed like a little in risk of stagnation. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm open to it. I like Jon Bernthal. I liked him as the Punisher.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's pretty good as Punisher. So
I want to see him do more comedy, but yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Maybe Punisher can tell some jokes, Dave. I don't know.
Yeah, some knock-knock jokes. In other comic book news, Keanu Reeves recently said that there's still a hope for Constantine 2. DC is mulling it over. They're like restructuring and all that, but it's not as dead as I assumed it would have been.
I wouldn't have either. Like they announced that every other project was dead, including Constantine 2, but like the fact that it took it 15 years to come together and you have Keanu Reeves attached to it where he was saying, I will do this movie. There's no fucking way they cancel that movie.
Exactly.
There's no way.
Like Keanu Reeves is sitting there just like, come on.
Yeah. There's no way they cancel that movie.
Yeah. And I would watch the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. Constantine 1 is pretty good.
I like it. I know it doesn't have really anything to do with the comics, but I liked the movie as a movie.
And it's got so much talent in it.
Mhm.
It's one of those movies where like you forget about it and then you watch it again and you're like, Tilda Swinton, like fucking Rachel Weisz, Jesus Christ, like
Mhm.
this is amazing. The cast they got, and like it's not that great. It's kind of its time a little,
It's
like his
extre-
little
it's ex-
sidekick.
It's extremely
His
of its
Shia
time. His Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
But
It's extremely of its time, but like the amount of time it took a sequel to come together, and like the amount of, I mean, it wasn't a lot of fan pushing for it, but there was this movie has very outspoken fans. It's just the fact that it took a decade and a half to move mountains to get everybody involved to come back together. And Keanu Reeves, I cannot stress that enough.
Right.
Like, he is a, huge star right now. and
Right.
like Marvel's dying to get Keanu Reeves into a movie. So the idea that Keanu would be like, yes, I'll come back and do a Constantine 2, and then they would just shit can it because they have this new vision for their DC universe, they wouldn't do. No, that's not going to happen.
no,
Because
And
they
also,
they already have said that certain movies like the Robert Pattinson Batman and the Todd Phillips Joker movies are outside of the DC universe canon for the movies.
Yeah,
so they
and
already
they could just do
have
that.
Right. They already have projects that are like not part of the continuity. So there's no reason they wouldn't do this. It's stupid if they canceled this
Right.
movie.
We've said it before. The DC has potential to fucking explode, right? And like, because Marvel is waning a little bit, not a huge amount, but it's like I think the thing holding them back was just they weren't making that very good
They're
movies.
making bad movies.
Yeah. But the thing is the stuff like Batman, and I think Constantine has the ability to kind of break through the fan base. Like you were saying, yeah, they have a vocal fan base for sure. But also, like me, who never read the comic, is just like, yeah, I like that movie. Like it has potential to kind of just draw people in as a movie, because it's kind of fun and interesting enough. So yeah, I hope it happens.
And Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu Reeves is right there.
Yeah, he's right there.
Begging for it.
He's like,
He's
I
horny for
will
it.
do this movie.
Yeah.
You're not going to
What
say
it'll
no.
take.
You're not going to say no.
No, absolutely not. Well, that's it for news. There's probably more news out there. I heard John Wick 4 was really good, despite being like 3 fucking hours.
That's fine. When my most common thought when I'm watching the John Wick movies is that I don't want this to end.
Yes, I am happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I want this
I was
to
watching
continue
John
going.
Wick 3 the other day,
Yeah.
and I forgot about all the little fuzzy bullets in that. Halle Berry and her fuzzy bullets.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, just wrecking dudes happily. These dogs just fucking
Dogs
flying through the air.
Biting dicks off left and right.
Yeah.
Incredible
They go
film.
for so many dicks.
They eat so many dicks, Dave.
Yeah, they do. It's delicious. Well, fuck. Let's thank some more producers.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's
I'll
do it.
do that. Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you to Pete for Pagel.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pneumono Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse New Year's Baby.
Thank you.
Thank you to Snapper Car Punches God in the Dick.
He sure
Thank
does.
you to Sorry Cop, the world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
So convenient. Thank you. All right,
Yeah.
let me jump in here. Thank you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight?
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the To Be Terror Bunny says watch Dead Heat.
Okay.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Dress Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Vincent with a Y.
Thank you.
Thank you to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to Your Mom.
Thank you.
And thank you to Zzz, because Pie Guy likes being last.
Hack the system.
Hack
Guy, hack
the
the
system, Pie Guy. You beautiful son of a bitch.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dave.
Yep.
Dave. Dave.
Yep.
Dave.
Yep.
Dave.
Yep.
You captain of industry.
Yep.
You
That's me.
intrepid explorer.
Oh, yeah, you're describing me.
You bold adventurer.
That's no one else could be that.
Do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
Okay. You know, I think I just might. Have
What
two.
luck! My goodness, my first day back and you have a movie that deserves more hype. We couldn't have planned this better, Dave.
We really couldn't have. And I had trouble picking between these because they both looked compelling in different ways.
Wait. Are you trying to tell me that you have two movies that deserve more hype?
That is what I'm trying to tell you.
You brutal bastard!
I know, it's fucked
so
up.
much hype!
Yeah, it's fucked. So this first one is called White Plastic Sky. This comes out in Hungary, March 30th.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing that we did all that and you very gently tell us what the title of this movie is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
You're right.
This looks like an incredible movie. Continue.
Yeah. No. Okay, this will blow your dick right off.
Blast your dick right off your body like one of Halle Berry's dogs.
Yes, exactly. This is what I would call a real bummer, but I want to watch it. It takes place in a futuristic world. The title White Plastic Sky is referring to a dome. They're biodoming it. All of humanity lives in a single domed city, where basically the whole world has been fucked by climate change. The filmmakers actually consulted with climate specialists and botanists and geologists, and so they're just trying to exist in this dome. That at the age of 50, every citizen gets an implant that turns them into a food source, specifically like a
plant.
Tree.
A plant.
Yeah, it turns them into a plant.
Yeah.
And this is about someone living in this world where their wife gets a voluntary implantation early, and there's this element of basically it seems to be compared to stuff like Soylent Green, except it's not gonna be that, or Logan's Run.
Logan's Run,
no one's
for
gonna
sure.
Yeah, no one's gonna tear down the system in this movie, and so I think that's kind of interesting. It's probably a little more of a bummer, maybe. I don't want to say that because the reviews and stuff, it's getting rid of reviews. No one is saying that it's like a major bummer, but it's not going to be the thing you think it's going to be with a setup like that.
Right.
It's, I think, a little more grounded for a dystopian film. And the thing that only me and Tom know, or anybody who's watched the trailer know, is that the way they get away with having such a vast sci-fi world in an indie film is this is a super rotoscoped situation.
Yeah, it's animated.
It's animated, but the actors are rotoscoped in, and there's some CGI elements, and so it looks very unique. I think it just looks really cool.
It looks kind of like a Scanner Darkly, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that, but a little more like anime, I would say.
Yeah,
because the animation of the world doesn't feel like it's trying to be that realistic, I guess. Like a Scanner Darkly, it felt like they rotoscoped everything, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this feels like just the people are rotoscoped in an environment that's artificial.
Yeah.
Although...
go ahead.
Although I don't know the process for Scanner Darkly completely.
Me either. Yeah, I was going to say this really appealed to me because I like the idea of, we mentioned Blade Runner earlier, which I think is a similar sort of thing where it is this dystopian world, but the culmination of the story and of the character arc is not that they solve the dystopia, and that's become so common in all of these movies lately within the past 20 years for sure. And honestly, even before that, typically what happens with a premise like this is the main character breaks through the oppressive dystopia and humanity wins and the world starts to restore itself. And that's not what this movie is. This movie is just personal stakes. And I really like that. I really like doing a sci-fi dystopia weird-ass movie where the stakes are just personal.
Right. You referred Blade Runner, if you recall. Blade Runner, he doesn't solve anything.
No.
Or Brazil.
Brazil is another good example.
When I say this is a bummer, I think that puts into perspective where it's like a lot of really good movies don't do this. To quote, I believe the director, we didn't want to tell a story about characters saving humanity, to have a story you have so often in these post-apocalyptic or dystopian movies where the story is about a group or one person who survives, where in the end humanity wins. We wanted to be a little more complex and a bit more cruel. And that's why I kept saying like, it seems like it's going to be a little bleak, but like, so is Snowpiercer. Like there's nothing from that description saying like, oh, this is going to be a slog or hard to watch.
But even Snowpiercer ends with them breaking the system.
Exactly.
So even as grim as that movie is, it still ends with them breaking the system and like, oh, humanity is restored. There's hope for the future. It's like the end of WALL-E.
Exactly.
Everybody, you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and this is a genre. This isn't new. It's just that lately it's been harder to find movies like this where it's not, the characters aren't expected to fucking lead a revolution.
Yeah, and
like you said, it's a personal story in a dystopia,
and it's
that is
not afraid to kind of a bummer, or like not.
Yep. Not afraid to be a little grounded, at least in an actual problem that we're facing.
Yes.
Like what they said basically is that they're not trying to say, watch out, the world will definitely be like this. From what I can understand, the people who made this basically sat down with experts and said, give us the worst case scenario.
Right. They're trying to make a plausible dystopia based on this idea of dwindling resources. And they do the Logan's Run thing, but I really like that. And I maybe I shouldn't say it's a bummer. It's just, it's more what you were saying, where it's more grounded. It's more realistic because, most of us don't break the system. Right. So like, we just have to try to get by in the system that we were born into.
Right. And make like incremental slow changes if we can.
Right.
But yeah, no one's going to lead a revolution.
Most of us don't blow up the Death Star. So like,
yes.
I really appreciate and I'm intrigued by the idea of a movie that is just a movie like this that gives us this huge offer of this dystopian sci-fi landscape. And it's just like, no, it's just the personal stakes about this guy and his wife.
Yeah, just trying to get by.
Yeah.
I really like that too. So I'm very, very, very into this. Unfortunately, we don't know when it'll come out. It's again, someone bought the distribution rights, so it's not going to come out. It'll pop up on streaming probably soon.
Yeah.
It's just slated for theatrical run in Hungary March 30th. That doesn't, this is one of those cases where I get the sense of like, in a few months, we're just going to see this on streaming. It's just going to appear. And so look out for White Plastic Sky. That title is, I don't know what it's a dome. A translation.
They're in a dome.
But it's a good title for what it is. Yeah.
They're in a dome.
They should have called it Biodome, but
they should have.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
This second one is called The Five Devils. This is coming out limited release March 24th. It is very different, but also kind of intriguing to me. It's gotten some good reviews, not amazing reviews, but people pretty much like it. It just looks like a really fucking weird idea. It's from the point of view of a little girl, but it's not necessarily about this little girl. She is dealing with a mother and her firefighter husband. They don't specify if that's her father, who is like it seems like emotionally abusive at least. And then this woman shows up. I think it's his sister, and there's like a clear like something's going on. There's a possibility that the mother and this sister had like a relationship or something like that. And but it's all point of view from this little girl who is also of mixed race and gets like bullied for that. And then she has this is the hook, is that she has the ability to reproduce any scent of her choosing. And by using these odors can like live in memories. And that's how it becomes this story about like the lives of her mother and her past being seen through this little girl who it's highly implied is like time traveling through this. Without spoiling something else, this seems very similar to actually a Chuck Palahniuk book called Rant, where that had to do with taste. But this seems to have good memories, and it's a very weird premise that's clearly circling like a dramatic plot, human plot, and so it looks very compelling. Yeah. And the trailer makes it look like really fucked up.
The trailer is nuts. I don't think I'm as on board with this movie as you are, but I do appreciate when a movie has as wild of a premise as what it is. It's basically this little girl.
Yeah.
It's not about her, but it's from her point of view, and then her sense of smell allows her to basically travel through and exist in other people's memories, and then that becomes the film at some point. I don't know. I assume this movie is going to say something about the family and the relationships and her relationship to her parents and her parents' relationship to each other.
This is a plot where if it wasn't getting good reviews, I'd be more suspicious of it, because it is a plot where I'm like, man, that could go really wrong. But I'm just super curious about this one, because I'm kind of with you where I'm like, I don't know if I'd like this, but it looks it's got like a very original idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, it's very similar to a book, but for the most part, we haven't really seen this in a movie. And it's an interesting way to show this from a child's perspective. And it looks, again, the trailer, there's like some shots of stuff where you're like, what the fuck is going on there? Like it feels like there's going to be a lot more there.
Actually, I think it was kind of the plot of iZombie, right? Didn't she?
Oh,
she would eat people's brains and could kind of see a little bit of their memories, and,
that's a cool
that's
idea.
How they like try to solve how they got murdered.
Oh shit!
But anyway, that's a much more watered down version of this premise,
right? But yeah, I don't know. This is a very compelling one. It's less straightforward than White Plastic Sky, but I saw and I was like, I want to mention this one because it looks kind of neat. So that's iZombie. Check it out, folks.
iZombie. No, what is this actually called?
The Five Devils.
The Five Devils. Yeah, the trailer is almost incomprehensible and looks nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. I'm curious about it, but I'm not like as gung ho as I am for the previous film.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. But that's it. Those are the movies that deserve my hype.
Dave, that's a sode. We've done it.
We did it.
We
back,
did a sode, and we did a sode.
Oh,
our first sode in weeks, Dave.
Yeah, touching tips in a sode.
Yes,
man, feels good. Feels good.
It feels good. We should try to pee into each other's pee holes.
Oh yeah,
as we touch tips.
Yeah, across those streams.
Across those streams. Yeah. Oh shoot.
It's me.
How do we?
So
you go first.
Normally,
yes, you go first.
See, I know why, because normally you would thank the guest. Like that's what you do. You'd say, "Hey, I think
thank you so much," and then you say some shit, and then I go, and then I say, "Hey, Dave, you say some stuff," and then you say some stuff, Dave. So why don't you say that stuff?
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, GAMEFULLY unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there, such as Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night.
We sure do.
Patrons. Last week we did both Back to the Future 1 and 2, so it stands to reason maybe we'll do 3 tonight. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is just special. We are going to stream the Oscars on Sunday.
We sure are.
Around 5 o'clock, LA
Pacific time.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't think of what Pacific time was.
Will that be restricted to certain level patrons, or do we?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
We hadn't talked about that before we made this announcement. I just realized.
Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. That might be fun.
It might be. I think there's a limit to the room, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I have Nitro, so it shouldn't give me a limit. This will be on Discord.
You have
Nitro?
This on Discord.
Yeah, and Discord has Nitro mode. Point being that we do movie streams on Friday this way, but I think we're going to do the Oscars on Sunday. So we'll do that, and we talk over it. And we'll have fun.
It'll just be open for everyone. Yeah. Let's just make that decision now, Dave. It'll be open for everyone who wants to come.
Okay, so not even like...
Oh, patrons.
Okay.
Every level of patrons, yeah.
Got it.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. Excuse me. Or we have a link to our Teespring store where you can find all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of stuff. Jesus Christ, I'm
You gassy.
I'm really gassy right now. I don't understand.
That's usually me. You're me right now.
I haven't eaten much today. Yeah, t-shirts, posters, stickers, mugs, all kinds of things. So slap your little peepers on that if you want.
If you want.
I nailed it,
This is
Dave.
America.
I did it so well. This was flawless. Flawless.
We did great.
Yeah, we did really good. We did a good job. We're good at this, Dave. We should start a business.
We should start a business. Absolutely. And then like how do you like can we like do crimes through the business? How do you launder money?
You absolutely can do crimes through the business, Dave.
Oh, that's great news. Okay. All right, well, we'll look into that.
Yeah, the business actually makes it easier to do certain kinds of crimes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
God, if we actually do crimes, this is going to be used as evidence. It's going to be really hard to deny that we did crimes when they could just play audio of us saying, let's do crimes.
I am not saying we're doing any crimes, but we could, should the opportunity arise.
Should the... yes, exactly. So send us your crimes.
Yeah, send us your crimes, and we'll try to do them.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll try to do all your crimes.
We'll be the crime guys.
Yep.
The try guys.
The try guys, but we're crime guys. The crime guys crack open an ATM for the first time.
Oh, fuck, yes.
The crime guys beat a guy with a crowbar.
This is a great idea.
This would be an incredible YouTube channel, Dave. We should do this.
It really would.
Yep. The crime guys carry out a contract killing.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's decided.
Yep.
We will do crime from here on.
The crime guys steal a blimp.
Oh, that would be a really good one.
We should just do that anyway. We should live stream us stealing a blimp. There has to be like a blimp. Like
I don't even need to live stream it. I just want to steal a blimp. Nobody's have one.
Right, but we should do it. We should do it for the clicks, Dave. If we're going to do it at all, we should do it for the clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But like,
yeah, it'd be hard to sell a stolen blimp.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is nobody's going to be guarding a blimp. They're not worth anything. They're blimps.
Right, and
so
but
it'd be easy to steal one.
It'd be easy to steal, but if you try to sell, people would be like, "Did you steal this?" And it's like, "No." And it's like, "Really?"
Why are we trying?
It says Goodyear right there on the side.
Why are you jumping to sell? Why would we sell the blimp? We would just live in it.
That's true.
We would exist in the blimp.
How could the cops catch us if we live in the sky?
We would live in the fucking blimp like King Koopa.
Yeah, there's no evidence of anybody shooting down a balloon like
and then the sky is international air, Dave. It's international waters, but in the sky. So
Blimp Casino. Right. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, we can gamble up there.
Yep, just you and I.
Yep, gambling, you and me gambling. We'd invite other people.
All right.
We can get a BioShock going.
Okay, yeah, let's do a BioShock.
Do a BioShock. Honestly, that's what all of this has been building up to, is us doing a BioShock.
Yeah. Not less problematic BioShock.
Yes, we'll build a society of like 13 people in a blimp.
Yeah.
Above the American Midwest.
Oh yeah, let's be libertarians. Did I go too far? Okay.
I'm not as excited about being that. I'm excited about living in a blimp though.
All right.
Which I guess would make us libertarians.
Right, that's the problem, is we'd have to you'd have to thread that needle through libertarianism.
We would be socialist within the blimp though.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Right, yeah. There's I don't know, there's a lot of considerations. I'm just saying it'd be helpful to have Peter Thiel's funding for our, we could tell him we're making a blimp city and then we just take off without him.
Yeah.
And we're like, so long, sucker, thanks for the money.
We leave him at the dock. Yeah.
Right, and what is he going to do? We're in a blimp. What is he going to do?
Shake his fucking fist. That's all he can do.
Yeah, exactly.
You son of a bitch, Peter Thiel.
Yep. We got you.
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
The crime guys. You've been crime guys. Oh, fuck.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.